up, everybody? Welcome in. So this is a new series I'm calling Dharma Downloads, and it's a combination of intuitive insight or downloads with Buddhist wisdom, because the Dharma is actually the Buddhist philosophy. So I'm going to weave those two things together, as I always do, but I thought a new series would be a fun way to re-energize the channel for the new year. So I'm going to start with a quick announcement because it's time sensitive. I'm running a very special flash sale on $99 intuitive readings, which I don't even do anymore. But for this special occasion, I brought them back. 40 minutes, 99 bucks, 5 spots only. 100% of the proceeds is going to my Tibetan Buddhist nonprofit studio. They're donation based and they provide a ton of, they make all of these resources, mental health, meditation, wellness, yoga, accessible to everyone regardless of their income. So they remove the financial barriers. They give a ton of scholarships for full trainings, meditation teacher, yoga teacher, retreats, all kinds of stuff. So 100% of the proceeds from those 5 sessions will go to 3 Jewels. The instructions on how to get a spot are below, and the cutoff date will be next week. So get them while they're available. Like I said, I don't offer $99 readings anymore, but for this, I wanted to do it for a special occasion. And like I said, all the money is going to them. All right, so let's roll into this. So we're starting out with, from the Divine Feminine Oracle, Sarah Lakali, Queen of the Outsiders. And it says, I have arrived, I am where I will always be in love. But she came reversed, Queen of the Outsiders. Let's get the overall theme. Then we're getting the Tree of Life, Peace. And then we're getting Grace for the Grand Gesture, Archangel Raphael and Malachite with this beautiful green, also in the reverse. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull one tarot card on each just to sort of clarify real quick. Let's see what we got here. So with the Sarah Lakali, we're getting the Page of Cups upright. In the middle, we're getting the World, which is a completion, and the Knight of Wands, so movement forward. And then this last section, interesting, yeah, Death in the reverse, and the Fool in the reverse. So, and 7 of Cups under here upright. Something's transforming. I'm gonna get one more Oracle card at the end here. Oh, interesting. We're getting Melt into Divine Desire, Goddess Pele, which is like the volcanic goddess, and Lava Stone, and it's reversed. So, okay, so I needed to get like the full message here. If we look at this overall, what I gather here is that right now you might be feeling like you're on the outside looking into a situation that you would like to either manifest for yourself or be a part of or create. But it's going to require vulnerability. It's going to require an opening emotionally, like in a way that makes you feel either uncomfortable or inadequate or afraid. Page of Cups coming upright with that tells me that you want to be in something or with someone, or you want to create something for yourself. But like I said, you've probably been kind of closed off. Yeah, we're getting the Hierophant reversed there. So there could be like, yeah, a decision, 2 of Pentacles, that you have to make about, it could be leaving behind something else that's been more conventional. So this could be like a job situation, a relationship, a marriage, it can be a contract. But this is the High Priest, so this is like the spiritual masculine energy in the reverse. And for a lot of men especially, I'm noticing, especially for the men that come to work with me, a lot of them are working on opening up to more power, but in order to do that, they have to stay centered in their heart, which requires like a vulnerability and an honesty and an accountability, so that they're not just pushing from their ego and from insecurity and from scarcity and from fear. Do you know what I mean? So there's like this balance act that's happening between your heart and your head. And what I'm feeling here is that if you feel like you're on the outskirts looking in and you're on the sidelines, but you want to be in the game, so to speak, or you want to be a part of something, you're going to have to not just open up your heart, but you're also going to have to probably, I want to say also strengthen your spiritual practice, because this is going to require more of you. Notice that her heart is sort of in focus here, and also that there's a bit of a halo around her head. It's giving balancing heart and head and then making a choice, I feel, that's going to be more heart-centered. But like I said, I think the vulnerability is feeling new for you. You're used to doing things logically. You're used to doing things conventionally. And this is asking you to like trust your spiritual path so much that you make a choice that's going to seem out of the box for other people. But for you, it will be the correct move because you're meant to make a more heart-centered choice. All right. So in the middle, we're getting tree of life, peace. What I heard was family tree. So if you've repeated like family trauma, which we all do unconsciously most of the time, and maybe you're in a situation love-wise or financially or both, where you feel like you got stuck in a cycle of pain or many, and it's because you recreated a dynamic that was familiar to you when you were growing up, as many of us do. This is a call to peace. It's like you are going to be the one that breaks the cycle. Hence the world coming here. I'm getting that you're the one that's going to end it. You're the one that's going to break that cycle. But what's that require of you? Faith, vulnerability, doing things out of the box. That's the Hierophant. It can be convention, but it's upside down. So what other people want, the status quo, it doesn't matter for you. It might matter to them, but your path, it's drawing you and pulling you away from something towards your destiny, towards the things that are truly meant for you karmically. But you can't have one without letting go of the other. So something also has to be released. A cycle has to come to an end. Let's just for fun get one more card from the Magdalene deck. Yeah, look, it says the Cosmic Magdalene. Remember who you are. You are not like everybody else, and not in a superiority way. In a spiritual way, you have a different plan. Your soul, like, well, in Buddhism, they don't believe in like a soul. They call it like just your mind stream. But the point is you have a different path that you're meant to take. And this is a remembering right now what's happening. Notice that she's got her eyes closed and she's out in nature, sort of just receiving energy from this tree. And I'm sure you guys experience that. When I need clarity, a lot of times I will go outside, out in nature for a walk or whatever, lay on the grass, like just be outdoors and be quiet, and the messages come. Or you need to absorb that sort of earth energy to get grounded again so that you can hear yourself and hear your intuition. So yeah, there is definitely a remembering. And I'm getting that the remembering and the sort of clarity that you've been receiving, which is probably scaring you because it means big changes, it's coming through the contrast of whatever is going on in your life right now where you feel like you don't belong. That's what I'm hearing. You feel like you don't belong wherever you are. There's not a sense of belonging. And it's because in the long term, you probably don't belong there anymore. Hence the remember who you are, dead center. And also, I'm sure that you are, I mean, if you're watching this, this is part of it. It's like you're receiving hints, confirmations, things that are validating your belief there that you're meant for something different. Like I said, thinking it is one thing, doing it is another. But then we have this last section, which again, what really stands out to me with the grace for the grand gesture, which is saying you're being asked to make a leap of faith, like to make a choice in the belief that like it's in favor of what it is that you truly desire. That's why melt into divine desire is here, but reversed. This is probably, like I said, terrifying to you because you're used to doing what's logical, not following your passion. Following your passion before probably led to some like toxic things or some bad habits because you associated passion with something unhealthy. Like there's a correlation there for you maybe in your behavior that if there's excitement, there's also pain. And so subconsciously passion goes with pain. And so you probably are like created situations that were more stable. That's loosely between quotes. It might look good on paper. Emotionally, it's not what you want, but like it might have been more status quo, you know, it doesn't light you up. It's not the thing that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. In fact, you could feel pretty dead inside, which is why I feel death is here reversed with the Fool reversed. You want a new beginning so badly. You want to jump off the cliff. He's literally walking in blind faith. He's not even looking down for a new beginning. And this comes directly after the World. So this is the end of the major arcana, these 21, 22 cards. This is the next card that starts a new cycle. So you are so close to starting a new cycle, but you have to have a leap of faith. The World was upright. The Fool was reversed. You know that the cycle must come to a completion, whatever it is, wherever it is that you feel like you don't belong. This is not about running away. It's not about escapism. It's not about avoidance. It's about facing the facts that you've probably outgrown whatever you've been in and the purpose that it was meant to serve was to wake up, was to remember who you are. I said that at 11:11. I checked the time. Holy shit. 11:11, I looked at the time. You're meant to remember who you are. That's it. It was serving as a contrast, for better or for worse. That's the purpose that it served. So you're meant to have a new beginning. Something has to die though, and it's in process, but it hasn't fully died yet. And again, you can get in your own way. You can stall, you can procrastinate, you can drag it out. But the truth of the matter is that you're not going to feel at peace until you make a change. And it will be a drastic change. It won't be a small change, which is why most people won't make them. And there are some people out there, I would say the mainstream and more than not, will settle for mediocre. They're too afraid of the change. They don't want to deal with the consequences. And so many people just choose to numb out. They go back to sleep, quote unquote. They just decide to float along through life, very mediocre, very blah. It's not exciting, it doesn't light them up, but they're too scared and too insecure to like do the thing that they really want. They don't want to deal with the discomfort and the change and the unknown variables and people's judgment and whatever. So they just settle. I'm not one of those people. I know I'm not the norm. I know that that's not everyone. I know that there's far fewer people that are going to take bigger risks and make changes than not. However, if you're on a spiritual path, I think many of us get pushed. We get pushed to the fucking limit until you break, and then when you break, you make the change. But it's like it will haunt you over and over again, and you will feel more and more like an outsider. And spiritually, I remember, because when I had a spiritual awakening, I also got a divorce. And it's not like I intended that to happen. And I'm not saying that always has to happen. You might have an awakening and stay together, and then you and your partner work on it and whatever. But for a lot of people, you went into the situation that you're in when you weren't aware. And then over time, as your awareness grew, the dissonance also grew. And then you just start traveling further and further apart, like for example, from your partner, until the day that I woke up and I was like, we have nothing in common anymore. Like, there was stuff in the beginning, you know, it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely like, there was more resonance, and then the resonance just kept changing until it was like, it felt so misaligned. Again, good person, not the right person ultimately for the long term, for me. And that for many of you, it's also true. Now, if this isn't a relationship, it's like your job, it's your life purpose, it's something else. So apply it where it resonates. It could even be like feeling on the outside of like, I don't know, people, like someone's business that you admire or someone's lifestyle that you admire, and you're like, wow, I'd really like to have certain qualities that that person has in their life, like more relaxation time, slow mornings, no alarm clock, no boss telling me what to do, like, I don't know, whatever it is, no ceiling on your income, no whatever, no limits. But like, you have to make the change. And again, you're being pulled towards what you really desire. I talked about this in the latest podcast because I said, for me, my intuitive gift is one of my biggest gifts, but it's something that I think over time I sort of undervalued at times and thought, well, that's not enough. It has to be more, it has to be extra, it has to be blah, 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 blah. I need a whole narrative around it. It's like, your gifts are there for a reason. You're meant to use them, but what comes natural and easy to you doesn't come natural and easy to everyone. And so same thing spiritually. So let's just get an overarching message here, like an advice card. Okay. Yeah, I see relief and repair under here, but I got divine perfection, Melchizedek, Archangel Melchizedek, and selenite. And I'm going to get one of the Magdalene. Yeah, look at this. Magdalene meditating retreat. I was really feeling that, you know, and that's part of the reason why I chose the sort of Buddhist path, because it is so centered in meditation. It's a lifestyle. It's like a philosophy, you know, it's not dogmatic. And my teacher, I mean, it could be, but my teacher is not dogmatic. In fact, he doesn't call himself Buddhist. He calls himself a wake-upist, because Buddha means to wake up. Bud means to wake, to awaken. And then Buddha is the one that woke up. So he calls himself a wake-upist. And I love that, because he's trying to be like, listen, people are going to look at me and he's, you know, gay and spicy and irreverent and funny. And like, I think a lot of people would look at him and judge like, oh, you're a Buddhist? Well, you don't fit the box. And he doesn't at all. He's a Scorpio. He don't fit the box, but I love him because he's so real and raw, and also so practiced, but he's so authentically him, you know? So I love that. And it's about the meditation. It's about waking up. It's not about dogma. Once you start getting rigid, you know, you're closing off your mind. The whole point is to open up your mind, you know? So I feel like, at least for me, I mean, the divine perfection card is actually saying that no matter how bad your situation might feel or look, or how fucked up things seem in your life, or how off track you might think that you are, you're not. This divine perfection is saying two things are happening at once. You're experiencing contrast and grief, probably, of feeling like you don't belong. At the same time, that's exactly what needed to happen, because if you hadn't had that contrast, or let's just say you're in a relationship and it's totally not what you want anymore, at some point there was something about it that you wanted. Maybe you were looking for security, stability, you had certain things in common, you shared maybe certain values, and then you changed. And people change. And so your values don't always stay aligned. And to have a successful relationship, you need values that align. The most common reason why people break up is that your highest values aren't aligned. And those are super fucking important. If your high value is like physical touch and you're in a sexless relationship, you will cheat. Or things will get bad because it's a high value for you. Your partner may not be. I'm just using that as an example because it's really common. Or money is super important to you and for the other person that's not. Or family is super important to you, for the other person that's not as important, people break up. This is why things don't last. You need a shared value, more than one typically, a high value, and then you need like a shared vision. Relationship building is like, in some ways, it's like a beautiful vow, commitment, union. In some ways, it's like, I don't want to say it's like a business arrangement because I hate that, but it is like a contract of coming together and saying, do we want similar things? Are we on the same page? Unfortunately, people don't do that because they're so desperate to either be with someone, not be alone. They're getting together for the wrong reasons. They're not looking at the bigger picture, and then 2 years down the road, they're already miserable. It's like, well, if we knew better, we'd have done better, but like, being more mature, and I'm in my 40s now and I've already been married and divorced, it's like, and been in other relationship situations, it's like, I know now like much more clearly what I do want, and I know that my values are what matters. If a person is, for example, if honesty is a high value or integrity is a high value to me, and the person that I like is dishonest or lacks integrity, it's never gonna work. So values have to be shared. But people can evolve, and I have changed because I also used to be sneaky and deceptive and a bad girl, and now I'm still a bad girl in my heart, but I'm behaving in more mature ways because I don't want to keep creating the same shitty karma. So there is something here about, you need a meditation practice. If you don't have one already, you should develop one if you're hearing this message. And if you have one and you want to expand on it, I will help you with that. If you want to start Buddhist meditation, that's what I do with people. So, and by the way, you guys, in my one-to-one sessions, if you book a one-to-one with me, like a 60-minute intuitive session, I always give you a resource. So if you need a place to start, I'll give it to you. But I like to work with people who already have some sort of meditation practice or some sort of regular spiritual practice, so that you're not starting at square one, because then it's like too many steps backwards. But if you want to develop and further your practices, as do my clients, that's where I'm like, okay, let's build on it. You know what I mean? If you can't even sit down and meditate and sit still, I'm not the one for you yet. But if you want to evolve your practice, I would love to connect with you. So just know that that's a part of my sessions. It always has since day one, come with follow-up resources. So there's a definite call here to go inward. You're not gonna find the answer out there, all right? Yeah. And like I said, things are exactly the way that they need to be. I know it doesn't seem that way, but truly, you're being called to let the ending occur. Whatever it is that needs to come to an end fully, you are in the process of transformation, but you are being drawn to, number one, prepare yourself for that moment, and to understand that going towards what it is that you truly desire is the right decision. It is. Does it mean everything works out perfectly immediately? No, you're probably gonna have to go through some bumps, you know what I mean? But I feel that the alternative is what you're going through now, and that's becoming almost intolerable. So with that, would I love to support you? Yes. Should you book a $99 reading right now because they're available and I'll probably never do it again? Yes. Jump in and get one. You have to email me the word reading and then we'll start there. But like I said, the instructions are in the link below. If you're at a crossroads, let me help you. You guys, it's laser clear. I'm very quick. I work fast. I will get you right to the core question, okay? We'll get there together. Help you get some clarity, get unstuck, stop floating around in confusion. That's a choice. You're being asked to leave your comfort zone. It's hard, but you will be like, thank God, but you have to do it. You know what I mean? And that requires like a mental preparation, which is why you need a stronger spiritual practice, because you need something to lean on. You're not meant to just do this all alone and float around with no tools and no support. That's hard. I have support. I have a spiritual teacher. I have a community of people who meditate and study the Dharma with me. Like, I'm not alone. And I couldn't have done some of the bigger changes without support of some sort. You know what I mean? So this is the message for today. All right? Again, in this school of thought, 100% of your reality is coming from you, which means you have to create the new reality through your thoughts. That's what Buddhist meditation does. It's ultra specific, you guys, very methodical, through mind, body, speech. You have to embody the qualities that you want to see. So with that, let me help you. Like I said, get one of the 5 readings while they're available. I'm sure I will never offer that. I don't see that coming back. I just wanted to do it for a special cause. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. I think I'll be posting these on Wednesdays, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And as I said, if you want to book an intuitive session, I do a questionnaire at the beginning so that we prepare like an intake form. The link for those are below as well. All right, love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.